First, Kwame Kilpatrick's ex-friend takes the stand as a star witness for the feds in the corruption trial. What Derrick Miller told jurors about big kickbacks.
The 7 Action News investigators have been on top of the Kilpatrick corruption trial since day one.
7 Action News investigator Heather Catala was in federal court all day long and joins us now. And Heather, how damaging do you think this Derrick Miller testimony was?
Well, potentially very damaging. Derrick Miller is one of the government's star witnesses. Today he talked about his former friend being paranoid, even having his office swept for bugs. And he detailed alleged cash kickbacks to the ex-mayor.
Kwame Kilpatrick and Derrick Miller have been friends since 9th grade English class at Cass Tech. But now Miller's testimony that he gave cash kickbacks to Detroit's former mayor has the potential to seal Kilpatrick's fate.
I can't speak to their personal relationship. Certainly, they're on different sides of the aisle right now. But, you know, all I can speak to is my client's desire to move on with his life.
Miller was originally charged with racketeering and conspiracy alongside Kilpatrick, the ex-mayor's father, and contractor Bobby Ferguson. But Miller bailed out and pleaded guilty to tax evasion and corruption charges. Hoping for a lighter sentence, the former chief administrative officer for Detroit turned on the so-called Kilpatrick enterprise in federal court today.
Is he the ultimate insider?
Well, certainly he was inside the office. He was there at the meetings at Bernard Kilpatrick's house or condo late at night. He was a member, as he described it, of the inner circle.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Mark Chucko started at the beginning, taking the jury back to Kilpatrick's time in Lansing and that first race for mayor.
We haven't used one penny of the civic fund in this campaign because it's not allowed by law.
Miller told the jury he was part of conversations to prepare for those questions about Kilpatrick's civic fund. He said Kilpatrick knew that statement made right here in that debate on 7 Action News was not true. Miller testified that he accepted $10,000 in cash from former Cobo Hall contractor Carl Cato on 2 different occasions. Miller also said that Kilpatrick directed Miller to pick up another 10 grand for the former mayor from Cato. Miller said the money was in $100 bills, but did not give details about exactly when and where he picked up the money.
Is he being as specific as the federal government is hoping he'll be?
He's answering every question. I can't speak for the federal government, but every question that's been put to him, he's been in court today, he's answered truthfully and thoroughly.
Miller told the jury that he got cash kickbacks for bringing in the real estate company Jones Lang LaSalle to handle some city business. According to court records, he got more than $115,000. Today, Miller said he gave half of that cash to Kilpatrick, who would often take it and say, cool.
Is he telling the truth about that cash?
How are you?
Miller also testified that people in the Kilpatrick administration were supposed to help Bobby Ferguson when it came to city contracts. Former federal prosecutor Peter Henning thought Miller did well on the stand, but his plea deal could be his downfall.
Now, Henning says he expects the defense to hammer Miller, especially because he did take a guilty plea in this case, and says the key for the feds is to try to back up some of his claims with other documentation if it exists. They did do that today with these so-called sit-downs the Kilpatricks would have with Ferguson and Miller, using text messages to try to show planned meetings. The problem with cash is there usually isn't any proof, and of course the text messages, as the defense has been arguing all throughout this, can certainly be taken out of context.
Now, Heather, there was a lot of FBI bugging and things of that nature brought up in this case. Was there a big fear of that with Miller?
Well, he did talk about that a fair amount today. He talked about how sometimes when he would meet with Kilpatrick, the former mayor would turn up the music very loud while they spoke in an effort to keep anyone who may be bugging his office or his home from hearing what they were talking about. Miller is still being questioned by prosecutors, and he's going to be cross-examined for some time, so there's much more to come, and you can bet that cross is going to be pretty darn aggressive.